You're watching Good on Paper, a bookish channel.
Hi everyone. So welcome to our very brain dead Sunday. Rachel and I are both super brained out this week. So we apologize. Brain cells are not functioning at the highest levels. So we apologize in advance for anything you're about to hear, because I have no idea what we're gonna say because we're so tired. And we might say some really crazy things.
Yeah.
But so we're both kind of in the same boat right now with creative burnout, I guess. We're both in the middle of revisions, and yeah. So Rachel, tell us what's going on. We're gonna be creative doctors. So you be the patient first, and I'm going to listen to your maladies here with the creative burnout and try to prescribe you something. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to go next. I don't know. This is the blind leading the blind here. But you go first. Tell us what's going on.
Right? I know. Guys, I wish I could say that I blame July and August, but I don't think it's July and August's fault that I've been like this. I think it's my fault. And I just want somebody to blame, you know? And if you're watching this via our YouTube channel, you can see on my face that I look much more tired than I normally do. So it's permeated even to the way I look now. I mean, we've talked about our projects a lot of times, but like I'm doing a trilogy rapid release, which is a great thing to do, except that I do the whole thing where you're supposed to, you know, they say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? I never do that. I try to eat the whole elephant at once, and then I choke, and then I die. And it just never goes well. So it's like, this is a bad idea. So instead of planning breaks in between all of these things, I didn't. And so it's just been go, go, go since like February. And my brain is dead, and my creativity is dried up. And revising book one was okay. It was hard, but then from the very beginning stages of revising book two, I've just been like, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to think about it. Like, I love the story. I want to work on it, but it's like my brain, there's like just something in there that's just like, no, we don't want to. We're not interested. I like sit down to work on a scene, and my brain I just can't figure out what I want to say or how to make it better or whatever. And it's just not, it's a block. It's like it's blocked, and I don't know what to do about it. And I've been so frustrated and stressed and tired, and yeah, not enjoying it right now. And hopefully though, through this discussion, we can figure out ways to help.
Yes. Yeah, because I know you actually researched an article, so I'm excited to hear what that has to say. Because I'm kind of in the same boat. Mine is not nearly as bad. So what I'm doing is I'm going out of town next week. So I realized if I want to get my book to beta readers, I probably need to get it all revised before I leave town. You know, and I can do little things. Like, I can check over, make sure the formatting is fine, and like I can do little stuff when we're on the road. But like the bulk of these revisions need to be done before I go. So this was like end of August. And so I thought, okay, just like write it out. I didn't know that I could do it in 2 weeks, but I was like, if you were going to do it in 2 weeks, like what would that look like? How many chapters would you need to do a day? And then like some of my chapters, you know, need light revisions. Some of them need to be totally rewritten. Some of them I need to add. So this is like brand new chapters, you know. So I've been on this like 2-week schedule, and it's been going good, except now I'm like halfway through. Halfway through is always the problem. And I'm at the part of the book where I had needed to write 6 brand new chapters. So, which means I've been writing 2 chapters a day. So it's around 4,000 words a day. And it's just like, I think my problem is because I'm on such a tight schedule, I'm like really doubting myself. And instead of just writing with the freedom of like knowing I can change anything I want later, I'm like, this has to be good now. And I think that's really blocking me up, because I think like I'm afraid to just write a chapter that doesn't work. Like, you know, so, and that really blocks your creativity when you don't let yourself make mistakes. And I've come to the realization that, you know, it's just beta readers. Like, if I write a chapter that I'm not totally happy with, that's fine. I can revise it. Obviously, ideally, you'd want to get your manuscript to like as good as you can get it before you give it to beta readers, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And so I can always like rewrite it later, and then I can always see what they say too, you know?
Yeah,
So
true.
I'm trying not to stress about it, but it's just hard because the other chapters that were already written, like I've gotten them as good as they're getting, like under my eye. So it's just, it's frustrating me that I'm writing these chapters that are not going to be to that level because they're new. But it's like they need to be in there so that like my readers have like the whole gist of the story, you know, like, so. But yeah, it's just, I'm starting to really like doubt myself. So I'm writing this, I'm just like, this is not good. And I'm like, is this whole book even good? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's gonna hate this. Like, this is just awful. Like, you know.
I feel like new scenes are the hardest because when you're in the revision stages, you're not in the headspace to just put rough words on the page and move on. You're in the headspace to be like, everything needs to be polished, but this is brand new. So it can't just be perfect the first time you write it on the page. So that is a lot of pressure. Yeah.
So, I know. I think I have, let's see. I think we've got 4 more. 2 tomorrow. Actually, no, only 3 more. I have 2 more to write tomorrow. And then Tuesday, thank goodness, I have 1 more brand new chapter and then everything else. And then I'm revising like 7 more scenes that day because I have it where I'm doing like 11 light revision chapters and then like maybe 4 rewriting chapters at a time and then only 2 like totally new chapters. And that's how I like broke it up. So like, you know, day 1, it was great. All I did was lightly revise 11 chapters and it felt good because I got through 11 chapters, you know, and it was easy. And I was like, yeah, I love this story. This is great. I can't wait for people to read it. And now I'm just writing 2 new chapters and it just feels like you're not getting anything done. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like everyone's going to hate this.
There's so much pressure. Well, should we see what this article says about burnout then? Since we both clearly need the assistance. Because well, I'm curious because it starts with asking, or like, it's, by the way, it's from Nest Labs. It's an article called Creative Burnout When the Creativity Tap Runs Dry. And it says there are 8 symptoms of creative burnout. And if you have 4 or more, you should be concerned. So I thought we could like figure out which ones we have, you know?
Okay, now the diagnosis process here. Okay.
I know. Yeah. So the first one is long-term procrastination. Struggle with basic work. Constant exhaustion. Inexplicable stress. Unhealthy comparisons. Unbalanced content consumption. Morning dread. Harmful habits. Unusual irritability and self-doubt.
I have like all of these.
Same. Like, I read that list and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, because like the procrastination, like I was so good at getting everything done 2 hours in the morning. Now I'll be like writing at 8 because I'm just like, I don't want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I'm so exhausted. I would say my most harmful habit is I ate junk food yesterday because I was so stressed and now my face is broken out. So that's my harmful habit.
Yeah,
like,
I do that too.
I don't know if anybody can see it, but my face is so broken out and itchy because I had like a Danish from Costco. And I know that when I eat junk food, it totally breaks me out. But I was stressed. And I also haven't been eating like very nutritious lately. And so I know when I do that and then I get stressed and then I'm hungry, then it's like, you know, I will go for that dessert because my grandma has dessert around the house all the time. And normally I don't touch it because I'm like, oh, I don't really need this, you know, blah, blah, blah. But like when I'm stressed and when I'm hungry, like,
yeah, I do that too. I'm always like oh yeah, you know? Same. I'm like, I feel like I deserve this because I'm so stressed and exhausted right now. I deserve this treat because I'm having a really hard time. And then it's like, okay, but you're treating yourself like every day now, Rachel, and it's it's becoming a very bad habit, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe our habits aren't too harmful, but you know, they're kind of harmful. Like I think that counts.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And like right now I'm at the stage where if pushed just enough, I will either snap at you or start crying. Like I'm just like to that point of stress where I'm like, it could be nothing, and I will just snap or I'll start crying. It's like, I'm so sorry, guys.
I've been so irritable. Like it's insane how irritable I've been lately, and I'm not normally irritable. Like so that's definitely a sign, and I'm just so tired because I've been waking up early, but I feel like I still haven't got myself to go to bed early. And then of course now with the procrastination, like I've been telling myself, you need to be done with work. Honestly, I should set up way early. I should like make it be like 5. Like, you know what I mean? Because if I tell myself I need to be done at like 7 or 8, then at 8 I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I've been doing. I've been writing at 8, like right before I go to bed. If I'm gonna wake up at 6, I know I need to be like settling down at 8 o'clock. Like I need to be reading. Totally off my phone. Like, but so I've just been exhausted. But I've still been forcing myself to wake up early because I'm like, I have to get this done. And I keep thinking, well, if I keep forcing myself to wake up early, I'll finally go to bed early because I'll be so tired. But like I don't, because I'll be exhausted at 8 and I could have gone to sleep, but I will have procrastinated. So now I'm writing. Like it's,
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, I don't want to be stressed, so I'm going to do these things, and then I'm just making myself more stressed, and then it's like, well, darn, this isn't helping.
So like all of them, I think I haven't lately been having comparison issues though. So that's good. That's generally not a big one for me. It was when I was younger, but not so much when I'm older. So I haven't reached that point yet. But that's like one out of like all of them that I think I have.
I know. I'm like, I think I have like 6 out of the 8. I'm like, okay, I don't have morning dread. So there's that, you know.
That's true. I don't have that either. I don't have morning dread. Okay, so I don't have 2. All right, that's good.
But I have pretty much everything else, you know? But good news is there are helpful tips and steps to make it less stressful, the burnout.
Oh, good. So now we're moving on to the treatment plan. We've diagnosed ourselves. We definitely have burnout.
We are in the right place. This is the correct treatment plan.
You only need 4, like, and
like if you only have like 2, it's probably like, you know, just regular tiredness and stress, and you can move on.
No, when you said 4, I was like, oh, I'm sure I have like 4 or 5. I was not expecting
like
all of them.
I know. When I saw the list, I was like, oh shoot, I have like all of these. Oh yeah. But I feel like we are doing number 1. The first one listed is to get support, which we are doing right now.
Yes.
Which is just to reach out to family or friends to either help you or brainstorm with you or just listen, which I do think that's a really big one. Is like just like venting or getting advice or brainstorming. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. Because sometimes there's no really way to fix it. I mean, most of the time there is, but sometimes it's just like, you know, you just got to push through it, and it's nice to just have someone to hear it, you know.
Yeah. Or like even like this where it's like somebody else who understands the situation, like, or is in a similar boat.
And just like commiserating. So like, you know, if you're listening to this podcast right now, like this probably counts as like at least halfway of a point for like the support thing. I feel like even though like I feel like it's better to have like a 2-way conversation, so definitely call a writer friend, talk to your family, talk to your friends. But I feel like, you know, listening to us talk about this is at least something, you know, until you can get to talk to somebody like face to face, you know, back and forth.
Same. The second one is the one I like least. It says to take a break, but not just a short walk, to take a real break, a few days off with your out of office, like do not disturb on. Because the anxiety of knowing you're supposed to work but can't is a vicious cycle. And I'm like, listen, I understand this concept, but I don't have the time. But then it's like,
I can't, other than Sunday. Like I'm taking Sunday off. So, but I always do that. You know, that's just something that I always do. But like I have to get this done by Friday. It's got to be finished. Like that's not an option for me. But I know after that, I can take a break. You know what I mean? So it's not like I've booked
Mhm.
myself out for like 2 months at this schedule. Like
Yeah,
that, you know?
yeah.
Like, this is just
Yeah,
a
that would
2 week
be like, oh my
craziness.
goodness.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And like in the future, I will try to plan my process, my publishing process with a break built in so that I can like take a
Me
week
too.
off in the middle of it and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, same.
That way I'm
And
not
that's
in
the
this
thing,
position
like,
again.
if I had been like more like thinking ahead and on top of it, I would have started these revisions before this month because I knew we were going out of town. Like if I knew
Yeah.
I wanted this to be to beta readers in September, like I should
Mm,
have started this earlier. And
yeah.
I was doing stuff, like I was rearranging my outline, but I wasn't like strict about my time. I was just doing it. Oh,
Mm,
I did a little blah 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 blah. And so when
yeah.
it came down to I had this much time, it's like I had to do it
Mm,
the way I'm doing it,
yeah.
which, so in the future I'll manage
Yeah.
my time better.
Yeah.
you know.
Same. I'm prepared for next time.
Yeah.
These are
Next
if
time
you
not
guys
this
are not in the burnout process yet, now you know how to avoid the burnout
Yeah.
process. So do these things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um the next one was make space for self-reflection. So they talked about journaling and like reviewing like documenting how you're feeling, your environment, your schedule, what's working, what's causing you more stress. Because I think sometimes I'm just like, I'm stressed and overwhelmed, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't take the time to like really analyze what aspects of what I'm doing are the most stressful or which environments are more
Yes.
stressful for me to be in or what times of day I work better. So I feel like I want to start keeping a journal and being like, this is what I noticed today. I had the worst mood at this time of the day, or this,
Mm-hmm.
area of me working didn't work for me, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I should start paying attention more because I've had some days where like, well, it was the first day. The first day I was like, wow, I love this new schedule. It's great. Like I got everything done and then
Yeah.
everything went right on schedule. Like I did my writing, then I did my
Mm,
post, then I did my workout when I said I was going to do my workout and I was done. I had all this time in the like
mm,
later in the evening, but it's kind of fallen off. So like thinking about why would be really good for
yeah.
me. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Hmm. It's almost like trying to like if you're having issues with your body, you start keeping a journal about what you're eating and
Yeah.
when you have
Hmm.
symptoms. So it's almost kind of the same thing where you're trying to figure out what the correlation is, like what's the most upsetting or what's the most stressful or what things are boosting your energy or
Yeah,
whatever, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
definitely adding that one in.
Yeah.
Like once I start feeling stuck, I
Yeah.
think I'm
Same.
gonna get a little notebook, put it right next to me. Once I start feeling
Hmm.
frustrated, I'm just gonna like write it down, like what's
Yeah.
going on, and then
Hmm.
maybe I'll be able to see you didn't eat enough for breakfast, or hopefully it's something that's
Yeah.
simple, but like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
might like notice a pattern that like maybe you work at this time of day better than at this time of
Hmm.
day after you like look back at like a week's worth
Yeah.
of, check-ins and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was one interesting. I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah, me
Um,
either. It's a really good one.
the next one, which I guess is more geared toward like if you are having comparison issues, you are
Mm.
dealing with doubting whether or not you're good enough, is to look at your past work. And if it's good, remember how it wasn't easy to produce. And if it's bad, look at how much progress you've made.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
Because I
think
know
the reason,
yeah.
yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I know I do that when I start to get stressed. I start to feel like everything I'm
Mhm.
doing is really just trash, and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna be any good because I'm not in a good headspace
Yeah.
when I'm writing, and yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And that could work for not even comparison. Like it could just be like when you feel like
yeah,
what you're doing is like trash compared to yourself. Because that's me. Like
hmm,
I very
yeah,
rarely compare myself, but I do get disappointed in myself,
yes,
you know.
yes, same,
But so I feel like that could work whether you're disappointed in yourself or you're comparing yourself, because that's
hmm,
generally the reason I don't have comparison issues like I used to when I was younger is I feel like what fixed that is I always set challenges for myself. And I'm like very like
mm,
focused on myself, like not in a bad way, like not like
yeah,
as in a selfish
yeah,
way, but
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
when you are thinking so much about like other people, like first of all, it's not doing you any favor. It's just like taking away from yourself. Like anytime you're jealous, that is like headspace that you could be like focusing on yourself kind of a thing. And if you really focus on yourself and like you're like you have a plan and like in every aspect of your life, you know, you're like, I'm gonna get better at this, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this and that. If you're like really focused on challenging yourself, a lot of times there's not room in your brain when you go to look at other people and they're doing something cool. Like you don't have space in your head to think anything more than, oh, that's nice, you know? So, you know, it's just like, you just need to focus on yourself more, you know, with jealousy, which I think is hard for people because they feel like that's being like selfish because we're told, oh, you know, like you can't focus on yourself too much, but like it actually makes it like better for other people, you know? Because then you're not like jealous and you're able to be a better friend if you're like really like focused on like yourself and challenging yourself and you know
like you set your own goals, then you're thinking about how to reach those and instead of trying to reach what somebody else is doing that isn't what you were doing.
Because people are in different seasons of their lives, you know. Some people are releasing books, some people are having babies, and like that, like I said, when I was like in my early 20s, that bothered me so much. I wanted that. Why couldn't I have that? But now it's like I'm in my season of my life, and my season of my life is like challenge. It's like writing. It's not releasing a book. It is writing a book, you know, and it's preparing for all these things. And I'm so focused on that. When I see people already like at these other, like it doesn't get to me because I'm like so into my own challenges.
I think that's a really good thing to look at. I like that. I hadn't thought about looking at it that way, but I like it. The next one also I think is really hard for me is start with the basics. Choose the smallest atomic unit of creative work you can do to get you started again. If you're trying to write a book, just write one paragraph. Instead of looking at the mountain of work, take your first baby step.
Honestly, no, you said that and I was like, you know, tomorrow when I open my document, I'm just gonna be like, write the first sentence of this chapter. Then I'm gonna be like, write the next sentence of this chapter. It'll be like, write the
you know, I thought about it because my brother just flew in Friday, and so we have a week with him of lots of stuff to do, and then next week my sister-in-law flies in, so it'll be all 5 of us together for a week. And we were just talking about our plans for the weekend. Originally, there was going to be a day where my brother and my dad were busy, my mom was busy, so I was going to be able to just work. But I was talking to my mom in the car. Well, and we were talking about it, and she was like, we were discussing maybe changing things so I wouldn't have that day anymore. And I was talking to her, and I was like, honestly, Mom, I was like, I don't know that I want a whole day to work right now because I don't know that I have it in me to focus for that many hours straight.
That's true.
So I was like, I think actually it would be better. It's like doing like almost like sprints, but even smaller, like 20 minutes of work and then legitimately walking away for like a half an hour, even an hour, and then coming back for another 20 minutes. I feel like I would eventually get motivated to do more in that 20 minutes than I do when I sit there for the hour, you know?
No, the exact same with me because it's a thing. My first couple days I did this schedule went so well and I got everything done. And then I had free time that I hadn't anticipated later. But now that I know that I have that, it's like when things aren't working, I just kind of procrastinate and you know, so I'm actually glad because next week is really busy. Like I have, you know, dog sitting and I'm meeting up with friends before we go to, I have 2 social events next week, which is crazy for me, you know, and like, so there's all these things. So I have to be done in the morning. Like there is no evening catch up time for me this next week, which I'm like, you know, this might be a good thing. Like,
to kind of like not encourage the procrastination. I agree. That's a hard one.
That really burns you out because like when it's not working and you just take a long time. Because what I should have done instead of like spending a whole hour the other day trying to figure out what I wanted to write in that chapter, I just should have written anything. You know, I just should have written anything because that's the thing. When I'm on the road, like, it's not like I'm not going to be able to do anything the last 2 weeks of August. I just don't want to have, like, why am I able to fix
a
it?
lot to
Like,
do.
I
Yeah.
just need to, like, get it out. Who cares?
Mhm.
It could be trash. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I can fix it. Like, this
Yeah.
book is not being shipped
Mhm.
off to the Amazon presses. It's going to beta
Yeah.
readers. Like, it's, you know.
It can be improved. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But perfectionism is real and it's hard.
I know.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did they have on this list? Oh, information diet is what they call it, which is managing the
Oh.
quantity and quality of content you consume. So is the content you consume nourishing, inspiring, fostering curiosity and personal growth, or is it draining and anxiety inducing? I was like, oh wow. Let me read that one again.
Yeah.
Because I tend to, when I'm struggling to write, this is why I've started doing like at 6 a.m. my phone goes to do not disturb.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I
Yeah.
have the time saving thing set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 4 it turns off and I can check stuff, because what happens is when I'm working on something in the middle of the day and I get stuck, I procrastinate by pulling out my phone and scrolling on
Yep.
Instagram. And it's
Yep.
not even my own feed. It's like the Reels feed where it's just like random stuff curated for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm just like, it'll be like 2 hours, just poof, gone. And it's
Mhm.
like, it didn't help. It either stressed me out, or now I feel stressed because I know I wasted time. And so it's like, this isn't helpful, you know?
No,
Yeah.
no, that's for me too, because I noticed I worked great when, like, because I did not do anything with the phone until after the writing was done. I did not check emails, but things started getting hard. So I was like, well, let me just look at
Yeah.
my email during my writing session. Let me just go on Instagram. And yeah, for me too, the scrolling is the worst. Like, it's one thing. So that's why I try and keep it. You post, you engage with like your friends and people that you care about. And then once you're
Yeah.
tired with that, because you can get tired from that, like you reach a point, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, I've commented on so many people's posts, now I'm done. But it's like when you start like scrolling and you're not interacting, I think we've talked about this before, you know, you're not interacting, you're not liking, it's strangers.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that will suck you in. And then like you feel like it's relaxing because like you can do it for so long, but it's like, it's not. you know? Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It's funny because actually before we started this video chat, I don't know what it is. Like the last couple of days, I've just been like, you know what? I don't know. I think I hit this threshold every once in a while, and then I'm like, I'll get over it. But I'm just like, I really don't like social media, because it used to be that Instagram was kind of like a postcard. Like you would post a picture of what you're doing, a caption of what you're doing, or like how you're feeling. And like it was just a way to keep up with people. And now I feel like all I ever see is people promoting something, including myself. And I'm like, I understand that that's part of the business, but it also feels draining to look at. I don't feel like it fills me at all to scroll through it. It's just kind of like, I don't know, there's just not a lot of value in it for me to scroll through it. So I actually, before we started talking, I was actually looking up smartphones that don't have apps, where like it just has texting, calling, and maps. Like it doesn't have, and like I think you could take photos, but it doesn't have social media or anything on it, and you can't download it. Because I'm like, I kind of would rather just have Instagram be on my computer, something that I have to take a lot of energy and effort to go on to, instead of, I don't know, because I don't know what it is, but like this week it's just been really getting to me where I'm like, I really don't know that I want to have it accessible right now.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I try and be like really, really strict with myself. And I notice like I have great days when I get on and social media is I post and then I see what my friends are up to. And a lot of times when I'm having a bad day and I do it like correctly, like I'm trying to think, I think Tuesday I had a bad day, or was it Wednesday? Or it was like Wednesday or Thursday this week. Like I was just feeling like so uninspired, but like I made my post and I got on and I was just having a great day. I was like going through and I was commenting and seeing what people were doing. And I came away feeling like so inspired and ready to write and so proud of my friends. I'm like, that's the experience I want to have. Like I never want to get on there and just be drained by it. So I try, like, as soon as I notice like I'm feeling drained, I try and just get off. Like if you're not just like grinning with like every new picture that you see, you're like, oh, look at so and so, yay! Oh, look at so and so. Like if it's not that, get off. Like get off right now.
Yeah.
Like
agreed.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the
So,
same way. Yeah.
which means that some days you're probably going to spend 5 minutes on there, because like I feel
Yeah.
like I have good days rarely on social media, but like it's worth it to me to just have like the good days and keep it there, and then just
Yeah.
days, because it
Yeah.
really hurts your writing, like, and everything else.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Like I definitely want to keep my account solely almost because I have so many friendships that are built through that it's like I don't want to lose that. I just don't want to be like sucked in all the time on it.
Yeah. So I
To
try and keep
find
my phone
balance.
like in the other room when I'm working. That way I cannot just like pick it up and scroll when I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Like when you get stuck, you're like, well, let me just, and it's like literally the worst thing you could do when you're stuck is scroll Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. Because then the procrastination comes out like in full force, and it's like this is not good.
Yeah, it's so bad. But
yeah.
Speaking of things that do work, I did notice that if I was stuck, I was really stuck, but I got up and I did my singing and my workout. And then it was so much better after that. Like, so much better. So I think next time if I'm feeling stuck, I'll get up and exercise. I will not check my phone. Like, there are good things you can do when you're stuck, and there are bad things. And like inputting other media, even email. Like, nobody talks about email being dangerous, but like checking my email when I get stuck also does not help. Like, it makes it worse. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
That's actually the last point of this article was structured distraction, where our brains are not meant to sustain attention for a long time. So it's good to alternate between focus and distractions, but taking creative breaks like walking, chatting with someone, drawing, playing music, physically active, just like even 15-20 minutes of like walking outside, anything to like give yourself a creative, thoughtful break, because your phone is not a creative, thoughtful break.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So, yeah.
Trevor needs to hear that. Me. For all you podcast listeners, I'm pointing to myself. Whoever needs to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because really it's the lazy option. It's like the lazy way of, I don't want to do this, but I don't want to get up and do anything else either. So I'm just going to sit here and scroll. Yeah.
Yeah, because literally you're not even getting up off the couch or your desk. Like, that's when and that's the thing, when you're like in a lazy mindset, then when you go back to that, you're going to have that lazy mindset. If you get up and move your body, you're like productive. So then you go and sit down, it's going to be more likely that your fingers and your brain are going to be productive and start typing. Like, you are setting yourself up for failure because I tell myself that. I say, okay, don't open that tab. Check your email. Don't do this. Why don't you get up? Why don't you stay focused? It's like when you give in to yourself, it almost becomes a slippery slope, because I feel like discipline is a muscle. So you do it once. And it's like, so if you do something that you know you don't want to do, like check your phone, what makes you think you're going to be able to write when you tell yourself you need to write? Like, you already lost yourself a discipline point. Like, now you're going to have worse discipline. Like, now you're really not going to.
Well, it's like they say. Yeah. Well, it's like they say that it takes like 30 days to break a habit, or but it doesn't take very long to make a bad. It's like just a few times, and then suddenly it's like, for me, brushing my teeth at night, I never let myself not do it, because I don't I'm lazy and I don't want to do it. So I'm like, if I don't do it, I know I'll make it a habit and I just won't do it anymore. Like, I'll just over and over, I'll make an excuse. So it's like, there are certain things that if you do it once, it's just so much easier to continue doing it over and over again. So you have to be careful about that stuff. Yeah.
You really do. Yeah, because the days I did the best, where I was disciplined during my entire writing time, I did not open my email and check it. And I thought about it. I thought, no, you're not going to do that, because it's going to ruin what you're doing, and you can do it later. And but once you start breaking those rules,
it's hard.
It's all over.
Yeah. But I do think I'm going to try in the next couple of weeks to start a journal and like purposefully change things. Like, today I'll sit on the porch swing and see if I write better there. And then the next day I'll try sitting at the table and see if I write better there. Like, purposefully change my schedule and stuff like that to see what helps. Because I don't really know what it is that's least helpful and most helpful. So I think I'm going to do that kind of like experiment and keep track of my results. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep something next to me. I'm gonna write, and also I'm gonna be like, I don't care if you're stuck and today is hard. Like, that's even more reason. Because that's the thing. Like, we're always so good at being disciplined. Like, when it's like the easy days, I'm moving into the light more. He's like going away. Yeah, it's easy. Like when things are easy, you're like, yeah, no. But it's like, especially when it gets really hard, like that's when you really, really need the focus and not pull out your phone or. But yeah, I've definitely been failing on that one. But that's okay. Tomorrow's another week.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
I hope this has been helpful. I feel like it's been so helpful to me already. Like I feel so much more hopeful about next week. Yeah. Like I feel like we got this. Like we can do it.
Yeah. I'm like, I have some tools moving forward, and it's just nice to know that you're not the only person in this position. Like it's normal, it's natural. A lot of us go through it. It's just, I'll try and be preventative in the future instead of having to experience this to this level again.
Yeah. Because going in and fixing it when it's already at this point is just not good. So
it's not fun.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope this was helpful if you're experiencing burnout, or if you're not, I hope this was helpful to kind of prevent you before you get there. That is my biggest wish, is that you are not experiencing burnout, and then you won't either. Like that is my biggest wish for you guys. But we will see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it, and tune in next week for another episode. And if you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a review so that other people can find us, and we will see you in the future. Bye.